Mayor, would you like to begin?
Yes, please.
Good evening. This is the meeting of the Borough Highlands Mayor and Council regular meeting on Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times and by posting at the Borough Highlands Municipal Building and filing with the Borough Clerk on January 1st, 2023. Items listed on the agenda are subject to change. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now do roll call. Councilmember Cervantes.
Here.
Councilmember Chalak.
Here.
Councilmember Melnick.
Here.
Council President Olszewski. Absent. Mayor Briand.
Here.
We have a quorum. First, we have other business, public hearing on community energy plan.
You want to shut the lights? See if he's here?
I'm going to step back there in just a moment. So I just wanted to walk up to
Well,
introduce myself in person and up close and personal. My name is Kristen Russell. Thank you for having me tonight. I am with Colliers Engineering and Design, and we were hired by the borough to prepare a community energy plan. And I'm going to present that to you tonight. I will go through what that is and how we got where we are, and hopefully give a good explanation of the vision that has been established with this community energy plan. And certainly afterwards, I will be happy to take questions from the council and from the public who is here tonight. Certainly, there is an opportunity for the public to give their input. That's part of this process. So feel free to share your opinions once I've given my presentation. If you don't mind, I'm just going to present from the back so that I can advance my PowerPoint. So I'll just be a voice in the room for a few moments here.
Kristen, if you want, you can flip the chair to the other side so that you can see this way, if it matters
It's on my monitor.
at all.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So what is a community energy plan? In 2019, the state of New Jersey adopted their own energy master plan as a way to establish, address climate change and guide the reduction of greenhouse gases statewide. Once they did that, the point was to encourage municipalities to create their own version of that plan, selecting from a list of initiatives that the state established, selecting the ones that are most relevant to the borough and will have the best impact and are most realistic to for each borough or municipality to undertake. This is an effort that is supported by Sustainable Jersey and the BPU. And as with the state plan, there are tools to prioritize how the municipality will go forward and what kind of programs and projects you will focus on to become a more resilient and focused community going forward. These have a 3 to 5 year outlook. So this isn't a real, most master plans have a 20 or even longer outlook. And this is something that's much shorter. So when we were looking at the initiatives, which I will get to, we were really thinking, what can we do in the next few years to make a difference? The list was very long. As I said, I'll get to that. And just because we didn't pick something doesn't mean you can't or won't do it in the future, but we picked those which we thought were most realistic in a 3 to 5 year time frame. So how did we get here in the first place? This council first explored the idea in February 2022 with some talks around broadening clean energy opportunities. The next month, this council voted to pursue a clean energy grant. And that is how this is being funded. You received a grant from some state agencies to help you along. At a third public hearing that September, it was announced that you were awarded that grant and you authorized work to begin, which is where basically I come into play in this project. The borough convened a group of 9 community members and borough representatives to meet with me and talk about what this was, and to go through kind of with a fine-toothed comb the initiatives that the state has established, and to talk about them and decide what was realistic for this borough. So going back a little bit to the state energy plan, as I said, they established these big ideas or strategies that then the municipalities will look at. And I just want to run through 6 of them with you. Transportation, that's the idea of reducing energy consumption and emissions, the adoption of EVs. Renewable energy and distributed energy resources, so that's talking about things like solar and offshore wind. Energy efficiency and conservation, so that's, as it implies, improving energy efficiency and reducing peak demand. Reduction of energy consumption in buildings, so that's green buildings. Supporting participation of underserved communities. I'm not going to get into that at all because the state identified which communities qualify and you do not. And clean energy innovation economy, and that's supporting job development in the clean energy sector. So the planning team that was convened, we met twice and we considered 38 initiatives set forth by the state. I know you don't really need to read that graphic, but it's just a sampling of all of pages of these initiatives that were provided. And we talked about all of them, and we had some forms to fill out as to why we did or didn't, the positives and negatives of each, and why we did or didn't ultimately pick them. So as I said at the beginning, we were looking for projects that we thought could really happen in 3 to 5 years, that the borough could realistically afford, that the borough had the capacity to actually implement, and that would have an impact on the community. Not every town has the same needs or would benefit equally from the same type of project. So we thought we tried to find ones that would really be meaningful to Highlands. And this was informed by things like demographics, your geography, and the unique characteristics. So I'm going to go through the initiatives that we selected. I'm going to go through them in a pretty high level. I'm not going to go into all the details, but I also want to let you know that for all of these, it is not the purpose of this plan to get into the nitty-gritty. It's a big idea, and it's a guide. So the borough should use the chosen initiatives as a guide for their decision-making going forward. That will mean that they will still need to, come up with the capital funds, if that's the type of funding that applies to any particular initiative, and convene teams or leadership to actually execute these initiatives. The purpose of this document is really just to call out the initiatives that were selected. So the first initiative is adopting supportive zoning and regulations for EV infrastructure. EV means electric vehicles, if anybody wasn't sure. And this type of project would be a collaborative effort with borough code enforcement, the legal department, and planning. It will address growing EV ownership, which is not particularly unique to Highlands, but in this table here, you can see that while the numbers are still pretty low, it doubled in just 4 years. So if that trend continues, which I think is expected, it's going to be an increasing need. And this is low cost to execute. In fact, I believe that it's underway, is it not?
That's correct.
Yes. So this is a pretty simple code amendment that the borough has identified as an initiative that it's interested in pursuing. On a related note, the second initiative is to train first responders on EVs and EVSE. EVSE is electric vehicle supply or service. It's the equipment, it's like the charging stations. This would be a collaborative effort with the first aid squad, police and fire departments. It's a low cost to execute. And I should point out that in making these decisions, part of the team who was part of the discussion included police liaison, public works liaison, council members, and so forth. So we really tried to include people who would be involved in implementing these sorts of projects. So this was chosen with the input and conversations with those who would be involved. At a 6-month mark, participation will be evaluated and recommendations made for future training. And a third EV choice that was selected by the borough is to install public EV charging infrastructure. Again, this is DPW, finance, borough administrator, governing body, mayor's office, kind of everybody gets involved in making this happen. As I understand, it's underway at 171 Bay Avenue. And this will also address the growing need and increased EV ownership. Right now in town, you have 2 over at bars and there's 1 at a Starbucks, but now you'll have 1 more. Has that been installed yet?
It has not been installed yet. We were waiting for the JCP&L to install the 3-phase, because these are DC chargers. The other chargers that you mentioned are the slower ones. This is a fast charging station.
Okay.
And we've already completed the ordinance for that you were talking about before for EV charging stations in town, and we've already set the fee for the one on the municipal lot.
Perfect. The next initiative is solar related. This is adopting supportive zoning and permitting for solar. So this is the second initiative that was selected that relates to amending your zoning code. Currently, the borough doesn't regulate solar energy systems. A lot of towns are adding these, and they can be as broad or as narrow as is appropriate for your town. So some options are building integrated, roof mounted. In this picture, I grabbed this aerial because there's actually, I think there were 3 different homes that had solar on the roof in that picture. Roof mounted canopies, which are, by that, it means the, like in parking lots where there's a kind of carport canopy over rows of parking, and or ground mounted solar. I'm not sure that you even have the real estate available for ground mounted solar, but those are just the options that are out there, and each municipality would pick what is important or applicable to them. This is excellent for a shore community because hopefully get a lot of sunshine. And it's low cost to execute, again, because this is really just a code amendment. This is making it more clear to any homeowners or actually building owners in general, property owners in general, what they can and can't do, and the process for doing that. So if you have no regulations, people need to really dig around to find out how they would go about installing this, if they're allowed to install this, if they need permits. So once that's codified, it just becomes more straightforward to the community, and having that in writing really does show what is important to you. And if you're showing that solar is allowed in certain places in certain ways, then it's clear that solar is something that you're amenable to and invite and are trying to help the community install where appropriate.
And just to also update that both of those ordinances were completed. They were both given to the land use board, and the land use board did find them consistent with the master plan, so they are now law.
Perfect. You move faster than I do here.
Yes.
And similar to one of the other EV initiatives, this one is to train first responders on solar. I won't go into too much detail. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it can go, I should just point out that the electricity or the energy that is stored in both, EV batteries and solar batteries is something that needs to be dealt with. We hear about these fires happening. And so it is very, very important that our first responders know how to handle those fires, know where shutoffs are, and so forth. So if these are going to be increasing in, in the numbers of installations that are around town, we need to protect the public at the same time. Okay, this initiative is upgrade energy efficiency for municipal facilities. This is an effort with DPW and the Green Team, and this does not so much identify a particular project, because as I said, this master plan is really establishing a vision, but it's kind of setting a state of mind. So consider programs to help the borough become more green in line with existing priorities that the Green Team already has. The Green Team will look into technical assistance through Sustainable Jersey to determine next steps for improving energy efficiency in municipal facilities. I think that this is a state of mind that is already in place with the Green Team and probably common throughout the borough across the board, but it's really just putting in writing the importance that you place on having energy efficient municipal facilities. Sustainable Jersey has a number of programs, or I shouldn't say they have a number of programs. They are kind of an intermediary between the gas and electric company and a municipality, or between other agencies and a municipality. And Sustainable Jersey really provides oftentimes free technical assistance. So they are, I had several conversations on the phone with them, and they are happy to meet with the Green Team, or actually anybody in the borough who wants to convene a group to talk about opportunities, and they will help give you guidance. You're not committing to any particular program, but you're going to be open to the possibilities as they are, as they fit into your needs. And then the last one is similar: construct new municipal buildings as model green buildings. As I understand it, there's a project to repurpose the police department trailers into a permanent raised structure. And this is just, again, putting out there that you will keep green building components in mind. A lot of us do green building as a habit anyway, because we buy Energy Star appliances, right? So this isn't necessarily doing $1 million modifications that, now feel free certainly to do that sort of thing. But this is just, pardon me, sometimes this is just the collective little bits put together become a big difference. So if that means making sure you use Energy Star, if that means capturing rainwater, that sort of thing, all of those things make a difference and contribute to green building. This is a mid to long-term project whenever that police department trailer project starts to take place. But also I think that it's an important position to have always. This master plan has a 3 to 5 year vision, but I think that there's no reason not to extend all of these things much further out. So when a time comes to build other municipal facilities, I would encourage you to keep this in mind as well. I was also told by the Green Team representative that the Highlands is looking to start using green products in cleaning and janitorial services. And switching to LED lights. Those are little things that might not even cost more than what are already being spent on janitorial services, for example. But they do collectively make a difference, especially when we're not talking about just one household, but we're talking about multiple facilities across a whole municipality. So those are all of the initiatives that our team selected. Again, these weren't, I wasn't the one to select these. I kind of just facilitated the meetings with the planning team and gave them some planning knowledge. I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, but I am a planner. I've been one for 21 years. So hopefully I was able to impart some planning knowledge on them. And on the other hand, we were all kind of learning as we went because this is a brand new grant program. And I believe that Highlands is one of the very first to reach the finish line here. So you are, in a way, setting example for other towns. The next step, and I'm gonna come up front now because I am done with my presentation. The next step is to talk to you about it, answer any questions you have, and then adoption. Now, adoption, if the board feels inclined, or if the council feels inclined to, could happen tonight. But if there is feedback that we receive tonight and you want to vote for adoption at a future meeting, that's certainly your prerogative. But I'm happy to take any questions that anybody in the room has.
Any questions?
So thank you. Just this outcome allows us to not only organize what we should do next or what we could do next, especially in a shorter time horizon, but does it also give us any kind of advantages when it comes to applying for additional grants?
Yes,
This is the foundation for why we're asking for this, and sort of will fast track some of those things. I know that a lot of these times grant opportunities come up, and if you don't have those ready in the drawer, you're going to be beat out for that particular grant offering.
That's a great point, and I should have mentioned that. Yes, once a municipality has kind of put its vision in a document, a master plan or something like this, you can show evidence to these other future grant opportunities that this is your vision and it's official, and they are helping you to see that through. So this certainly plays that role.
And I might have missed it earlier too, but does this also give us points as we are continuing this journey on Sustainable Jersey? And they're always looking for what has your town done in order to?
I think so, but I think so.
That's great. Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Does anyone else have any questions? Does anyone from the public have any questions?
I'm here all night.
Okay, well, I don't have any further questions. I will look up though if there are points to be had from this. I would imagine there would be. It's literally brand new, just came out this year, or last year rather, when we got the $10,000 grant to help fund this.
Yeah.
And for Kristen's time.
I think that Sustainable Jersey and BPU have a close relationship.
Yes, they have a very close relationship. And with a lot of the ordinances we already did, land use has already blessed some of them, or actually the two that we gave them. I would recommend sending this report over to the Land Use Board, just so that they can view it, as well as the Environmental Commission. Actually, all of the committees.
Sure.
Because everyone's, communications is going to have its own vision or take from this. So with open space, so environmental. So if we could just transmit this plan to everyone, and then we could look at putting this on to pass it for next meeting.
I also forgot to mention that a copy of the report, it looks like this, and a copy of my presentation, which looks like this, are out on that table.
Great.
And there are a lot of copies, if there's enough for everybody in the room, I think. So,
Okay.
So anybody who wants a take-home copy, feel free. I'll just leave them there for the night.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And if you can forward it to me, I'll put it on our website.
I will do that tonight or tomorrow morning.
Excellent. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
All right, next we have approval of minutes, June 7th, 2023, meeting minutes.
I will offer them.
Second.
Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Mayor Bruyan.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve June 7, 2023 meeting minutes. Next, we have June 7, 2023 executive session minutes.
I'll offer those as well.
I'll second.
Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalack.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Mayor Bruyan.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve June 7, 2023 executive session minutes. Next, we have public hearing on proposed ordinances O2311, amending Chapter 7A, traffic schedule, Section 7A-1, Schedule 1 or I, no parking of the Code of the Borough of Highlands relating to the parking restrictions on Matthew Street.
Okay. Does anyone at the table have any questions on this before I open it to the public?
No.
We're all good. Then I will open this to the public. If you're going to speak with this matter, if you could just give us your name and address or your affiliation.
Good evening. John Anderson of the law firm of Foss, Sanfilippo & Milne. I represent Jerry Surgis, 60 Matthew Street. I believe Mr. Surgis may have previously appeared before the council to express some concerns with the proposed ordinance. So I'm going to keep my remarks very brief. And I want to start by saying we're coming before you as friends. The council has done some nice things down on Matthew Street recently, and we're looking forward to resolving some issues collaboratively with you. Mr. Surgis is not categorically opposed to the ordinance. He has one particular concern, and it has to do with an existing ADA space. Mr. Surgis is disabled. He applied under an ordinance that you have on the books that allows a disabled resident to request a designated ADA parking space near their residence. Applied back in 2009, met with former police officials, and there is in fact an ADA space that he makes use of. That being said, I don't know that the borough's records show any formal determination on that application, and he hasn't yet been able to locate anything in his records showing a formal determination. So what it is that Mr. Surgis would like is just an agreement from you all that if you do adopt the ordinance tonight, it wouldn't preclude him from renewing his application with the police department. Doesn't mean that the police department has to grant his application, just permits him to put it in, make his case, and certainly we would meet with the chief out at the site and give him all the relevant materials to be able to make an informed decision on that single ADA space. That's pretty much the gist of my statement on it, and we'd invite you to just clarify the legislative intent to the extent that even if you do pass the ordinance, that it doesn't preclude Mr. Surgis or anybody else that might be disabled on the street from making that request.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And because I'm not an attorney, I will have mine speak for the council.
And I will repeat Mr. Ball's words. Dennis will confirm that position, that resident disabled parking is not foreclosed by this general no parking provision, that any future applications for resident disabled parking on Matthew Street or any other street would be reviewed and considered in accordance with section 7-3.6B. I will not add to that.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Excellent. Good. Okay. Are there any other questions regarding this ordinance from the public? Okay, then I'm going to close public portion. And I will offer this ordinance.
Second.
Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalack.
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick.
One moment before voting, I'd like to thank the Surgis family being a model for how to disagree without being disagreeable.
Exactly.
It was a wonderful session we had last time you were out. You gave a very clear statement as to what your intent is, and I appreciate your candor in this one. So thank you very much, and I do vote yes.
Mayor Bruyan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance O2311 passed on second and final reading. Next, we have resolutions. R23-150, approving renewal of liquor licenses for 2023-2024 term.
I will offer it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Cervantes.
Not abstaining.
Councilmember Chalack.
I just said it. Abstain.
Okay, I'm hard of hearing, I'm old. Okay, good.
Councilmember Chalack.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Mayor Bruyan.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution R23-150. Next, we have R23-151, approval to submit a grant application, execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Portland Road and Grand Tour Drainage and Roadway Improvement Projects.
I just want to clarify that if anyone drives around on those two roads, you would notice that there's no inlets that go into the storm sewer system. So yes, people uptown experience flooding too. So that's what this grant application is for. Because when it rains really, really hard, the roads just become rivers and it ends up downtown anyway. Because they skip over the drains because it's carrying too much speed. And with that, I will offer this grant application.
I'll second.
Councilmember, okay, we'll give it to Councilmember Chalak. Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilman Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Mayor Brulan.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution R23-151. Next, we have consent agenda. Mayor, would you like me to read resolutions by title?
Yes, please.
First, we have R23-152, authorizing the award of a contract to Bridge Connects Communication for Phone System Services. R23-153, awarding a fair and open contract to Downtown Network Company for the Community Ratings System CRS Coordinator. R23-154, authorizing execution of a settlement agreement and release between the Borough of Highlands and Cintas Corporation. R23-155, authorizing the refund of summer camp fees. R23-156, authorizing the execution of a shared services agreement between the Borough of Highlands and the Highlands Board of Education. R23-157, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Shore Drive Pedestrian Safety Improvements Project. R23-158, approving first aid squad application. R23-159, authorizing payment of bills. R23-160, approving change order number 2 for improvements to Waterwitch wastewater pump station.
Mr. Michello, if you can please just describe 23-160.
Sure. This change order there's no additional dollars involved in this. The changes are for the addition of a sump pump, a tie-in of the alarm system with the control panel, and an increase in the completion time, mainly because of delays by JCP&L to approve the electric down there, which has been going on for months at this time.
I will offer the consent agenda.
I will second that one.
Councilmember Cervantes?
Yes.
Councilmember Chalak?
Yes.
Councilman Melnick?
Yes.
Mayor Brulan?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolutions R23-152 through R23-160. Next, we have reports.
As Joanne is not here, I will give a brief report on the schools. I went to both the 6th grade graduation earlier this week and tonight to Henry Hudson's graduation, which I'd like to share that we had 44 graduates at Henry Hudson. And of those, one has joined the Air Force Academy, one is going to Marines, 5 are going straight from school to work, and 37 are going to college or university. And those 37 students managed to get $2.8 million in scholarships. So they've done really well up there. And that is my report for the schools.
Just quick readouts on a few of the committees and my liaison to rec. So comms first, I think it's more important now than ever to have folks sign up for Nixle. Nixle is very important for us to get the word out when things are happening very quickly. Not a lot of planning behind them. So things like water main breaks or street closures or anything along the lines of the construction that you see all throughout town. If you think that there's going to be a disruption and you're worried about that, sign up for Nixle. Nixle will get on that through email or as well as text messages. I know that I've got multiple channels getting those alerts, and I feel that I get more than I'd expect in any given week. So please consider signing up for Nixle to stay up to date with things going on in the town. We'll also be doing another campaign to get folks signed up.
Link on the page.
this year.
No, I'm
Look on the
saying-
page, but also, one of the other updates is the revival of our summer activities is complemented by some of the postings on social. So for the amplification of events in town, so whether it's the Arts Collective or whether it's the Lions Club or whether it's something going on from rec, we're looking to use again the borough's social accounts to amplify those messages because there's a lot going on in town, especially as the summer's here. So look to sign up and follow those pages if you don't already. And then lastly, with the opening or pending opening for some of our long intentional efforts around town, notably the Borough Hall, we'll be looking to publicize that as it comes around so that everybody can celebrate that completion. We are all waiting for that to come around. When it comes to rec, we have the skate park that's nearing completion here, which is the culmination of some open space funding as well as efforts from the town. So we'll be looking to see that be the completion of essentially a revamping of the entire rec complex here from Bay all the way down, whether it's the skate park to the basketball courts, the tennis ball and pickleball and the park equipment. Rec's got a lot going on. As a result, and complementary to that, we want to make sure that these spaces stay well maintained, and so the rec will be looking for some additional help to monitor the area outside. So please feel free to reach out to the rec department for more information there. And then lastly, when it comes to open space, we're eager to see the additional investments that the town has committed to Overlook and Frank Hall turn into action. I know that especially when it comes to Frank Hall, we're going to be insourcing that work, and so that will be exciting to see as it comes around. Also, it's glorious to see how well Ederly has turned out with the open space funding there, and not only with the construction itself, but also with the recent work from the Garden Club, and then I also saw the DPW out there doing some additional work this past weekend. So it's wonderful to see that open space really coming alive. And then lastly, one of the projects for this year with the open space has been the creation of graphical representation, aka a map, of the open space areas throughout town. I know Mayor, you had posted recently a listing of that. This is just going to be a complementary effort to that, showing in the picture form where all these areas are, so that folks can not only enjoy all of our fine restaurants throughout town, but also the open spaces, which makes Highland so unique. So that is it for my video.
All right, so I want to start with the Environmental Commission. They're very, very happy about what's going on with Overlook Park and the funding and how it's proceeding. They're also doing a study on light pollution in Highlands. And they have some recommendations about improving the overhead lights. See if I can get this right. That they should be more this way.
Round,
downward. Yeah.
You mean
so that
the Cobra headlights?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are a few places in town that they had pointed out that they'd like that. They're also keep harping on the steep slope ordinance. I sent something around this afternoon, and we're going to have them now present exactly what they want to change there. They've always been not very specific. There was a slumping in Atlantic Highlands last month, I guess it was in May, and we had adopted the Atlantic Highlands steep slope ordinance. They seem to feel that that same thing could happen here if we don't change it. Now, moving on, a couple of weeks ago, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration had an online meeting, and this had to do with the windmills that they want to build and the shipping and recreational fishing traffic. They were talking about lowering the speed for any recreational vehicle to 10 knots per hour, which is really quite slow, so that they think that would prevent any of the whale deaths or the dolphin deaths that are occurring. They are not considering the sonar that they use and the sound that they use to find the places for these windmills, the bases of it, is affecting it, but that is still an ongoing thing. Interestingly, I asked, back on St. Pat's Day, I was able to speak to Congressman Pallone for a few minutes about it. he said that they would never do that. They would never do that to the recreational fishing community on the Jersey Shore, but they indeed are, you know, Washington is talking about it. Let me just see what else. That is it right now. I just have a question for Mr. Oshillo. Shadow Lawn, just an update on Shadow Lawn. What's the latest?
They're still working on it. There's been a few trailers that have been moved out. A lot of the utilities have been capped off. So it's still ongoing.
Was the owner fined at all? Any fines, or there was an issue with?
I believe it was carried at the last court hearing, but I could find out for sure and get back to you.
Okay.
Since they are working together towards it.
Good, but there have been some removal of trees?
Yes, some have been, yes.
Very good. All right, that does it for me. Thank you.
Mine is just a reminder about Saturday. We have the Taste of Highlands from 12 to 5. Please come out and support. We'll make it fun as always. Everybody talks about Highlands lately. You know, everywhere I go, great events, good-looking people, beautiful things that happen in Highlands. So it's just a little reminder. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone have anything else to add? Then I will open it up. Well, I guess Nancy will read her statement, and then we can open it up to the public.
Individuals wishing to address the council may be recognized by the presiding officer and shall give their name, address, and the group, if any, they represent. Although the council encourages public participation, it reserves the right, through its presiding officer, to terminate remarks to and/or by any individuals not in keeping with the conduct of a proper and efficient meeting. If any individual refuses to conduct themselves in a proper manner, they will be removed from the meeting. The council will not, during the public portion of the meeting, discuss matters involving employment, appointment, termination of employment, negotiations, terms and conditions of employment, the evaluation of the performance of, promotion, or discipline of any specific or prospective or current employee. There's a 3-minute time limit for your comments.
Do we have any questions or comments from the public? No? Well, then I will end public portion.
Okay. Next, we have executive session. Executive session will be held following the regular council meeting. Prior to each executive session, the Borough Council will convene an open session, at which time a resolution will be adopted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-13. No formal action will be taken during executive session. Resolution to enter executive session.
I will make it.
Oh wait, I have to read it. Hold on.
Sorry.
Done. Be it resolved that the following portion of this meeting shall not be open to the public. Be it further resolved that public consideration is deemed required and is permitted because of the following noted exceptions set forth in the Act. Potential litigation. Be it further resolved that it is anticipated that the matters to be considered in private may be disclosed to the public at a later date when the need for privacy no longer exists. And
I will offer it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Cervantes?
Yes.
Councilman Schlack?
Yes.
Councilman Melnick?
Yes.
Mayor Brulan?
Yes.
Motion carries to enter into executive session at 7:43. Please, everybody exit.
Thank you, Arts Collective.
Thank you all for coming.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.